we have to get good at failure, and we have to get good at how we respond to that failure, and back to this cycle, right? How we respond to the past failure if we allow it to hold us back from taking action, which I think is in a lot of the cases. That's the mental state. Like, I don't really want to look at that. I'm just going to keep doing things the way I'm doing them. Is not going to move you forward. Until right now, this very moment, contractors have always been on their own, not as tradespeople, but being alone and knowing how to take their business to the next level. They call us working class. They call us blue collar. They say that we don't have the smarts to become the business owner that we're meant to be. That is such bullshit. You have the ability. You're more than any of that. The question really is, where do you get the insights that you need specific to contracting to systemize your business so you can get your profits to pay for your freedom? I'm Andrew Houston. I'm going to show you how to make more profits, how to get more control, how to get more freedom in the simplest, quickest way possible without any of that bullshit. Welcome to the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. Listen up, level up, and if you learn something, like the video, subscribe to the channel, change your business, change your life. Hey guys, Andrew Houston here from Profit for Contractors with another No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. We are going to get deep into answering a question that gets brought up all the freaking time to me, which is like, why don't we take the necessary action to move ourselves forward, to move our business forward? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Once I figured out how to address that question, it was a complete game changer to my ability to move my business forward, the speed at which I could move it forward. And also on the personal front, how I was able to do the things I wanted to do and really achieve the things that I wanted. So if this resonates with you, if managing your time, if that question pops up in some form or fashion, then you've come to the right place. So again, welcome. I'm going to just clarify for those people listening in, if this is really the right topic or the right place for you to be listening in, because I really do respect people's time. I think that's one of the things that we are most limited by. I'm going to be getting into why that is. But if you're listening to this podcast and you're wondering, is this really something I should keep on listening to? That I should be investing the time in on, getting some pointers? Ask yourself this question. Number one, are you a contractor? Are you an owner of a contracting company? Okay, so if you are, you're at the right place. Are you struggling with, making your business move forward? And I wrote down a bunch of questions here that are directly related to the question that I brought up, which are if any of these resonate with you, then you're at the right place, right? If you got questions in your brain or it's come across, where you're like, why do I never have enough time? You're at the right place. Or, where the hell did all the what go? Yeah, where'd all the time go, right? I never have enough, what's the blank? Time, right? To work on the business, to move things forward. I can't, focus enough with the time that I have, a little blank there. So if any of those resonate with you, you're at the right place. So this is going to be a short and sweet podcast. I'm going to try and keep it down to maybe 10 minutes or so. And we're going to crank this out. So here's the reality, okay? There's lots of reasons why we're not able to take the necessary actions. And I'm going to be spending, over the next little bit, I'm going to be spending some, quote, time helping you guys in how to really optimize your time. A lot of these podcasts, we're bringing on guests, we're bringing you guys techniques, strategies, tactics. I'm going to give you some of those today, right? I really do appreciate everybody listening in. And I'm not just going to talk about fluff and pie in the sky shit and not give you something that you can actually use. I'm going to give you something that you can use like literally today, okay? Give you a couple of tactics. But first and foremost, this is a little bit different. Why? Because I'm going to be talking about the mindset. I think a lot of places that offer up services to help business owners, I think that's one of the areas that they might, be weak in, which is they've got a lot of the ideas around, Hey, you got to put more time on your business. Hey, you got to structure your business. Hey, you got to put systems in your business. Hey, you got to find the right people and keep the right people. Okay, that's all fine and dandy if those are some of the things that people are bringing up, but what are the actual tactics? So the actual things that you can do to move things forward. So in this case, I'm going to give you guys some tactics on how you can really be able to start taking more action, the necessary action to move your business forward. So let's get into it. The first place that I want you to realize is we're going to go a little bit deep on the thing in between your two ears, which is your mindset. If you don't get your mind in the right place, it doesn't matter. I've said this in other podcasts, right? It doesn't matter if I said there's gold under your feet. If I said that, hey, there's a box over here. All you got to do is go over, pick up the box, and it has all the answers to all the problems you have. Or, hey, go over to that briefcase over there. It's unlocked. It's got $1 million in it. The reality is, if we don't take the time to go and do those things, to benefit from those things, we're never going to benefit from them. And it takes time for you to do that. And I think a lot of times, there's definitely, maybe it's more, maybe it's less for other people, but there's definitely times where you have known that you should have been taking action on something, right? Like whether it's, we brought up on these podcasts, whether it's back costing or job costing or quoting your jobs properly, or, maybe it is the hiring side of things, where we're actually getting guests on to tell you that they've applied these tactics and strategies and principles that we teach at Profit for Contractors in our Champion CEO family community. And they get great results. Well, there's many, many times where when I'm talking to those individuals, and yes, I'm not here to sell you guys something. I'm going to be brutally honest. There is a ton of strategies and templates and tools, but what I'm referring to with you is I'm referring to your ability to take action. Let's just look at the things that you should have been taking action on, right? So there's many, many times where we know that, hey, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this instead. Ideally what we want to do is we want to make sure that wherever we spend our time, we are spending our time on things that are going to generate the highest value, the highest return, okay? So why don't we take action on some of these things that we know we should be taking action on? I think one of the major reasons, okay, is that we have a sense of fear, right? We have a sense of, and it's not just one reason, but I think this is one of the major reasons, right? We don't want to fail. And too many times when we set out a goal or a project, something that we want to achieve, and we start laying out the map, we start laying out the pieces, either we don't continue laying enough, we don't plan for the plan enough, we don't, even if we have the plan, we don't take the necessary actions, we don't put in the necessary effort, is because we are in fear of failing. Our innate ability, okay, and I think as contractors, this is one of the things that I just got to address with you. You see, most contractors, I say this all the time, most contractors, like 95% of the contractors that come to us, again, business owners, they are the tradesperson, right? At one point, they were out in the field. Well, maybe you guys still are, but at one point, they worked for somebody. They were the technician, right? They were the electrician. They were the plumber. They were in my case, I was an electrician and industrial controls automation specialist. Roofers, whatever. Okay, and on the mechanical front, sheet metal, whatever. The point is, we were really good at that. And we didn't have that fear, right? Instead of fear, we had confidence. And we had confidence that we knew what we were doing. Like we knew it better than anybody else. And because we've tasted that, because, you've got your guys calling you, probably a lot more than what they should be calling you. But part of us, as much as we say we don't like that, part of us actually does like it because we're a bit of a superhero, right? Like we can address the technical issues on the job site. We have insights on how to do an installation better than anybody else. We can foresee problems that other people can't see. We can read the blueprints better than anybody else. We can program, in my case, the robots and make it, make the functionality so much more efficient and effective than other people. Like we're really, really good at that. The problem is that, we know what it feels like to be confident. Okay. And with business, a lot of times you've started things, you've started to implement something, and it didn't go the way that you wanted it to. And so many times we just give up, right? We give up on taking any more action, right? And I think this, or no action, right? But really, what's holding our or giving us the inability to move forward is this fear that we have inside ourselves, saying, what happens if I do this and it doesn't go the way that I want it to go? Okay. We have to, here's my first principle. Okay. Here's the first principle I want you guys to get. All right. And this is more mindset than anything, is you have to get good at failing. You see, that's part of the process. We help thousands and thousands of contractors all over North America. And I think one of the biggest factors, when we interview, clients, our clients get amazing results, but when we interview people and, dig a little bit deeper, they're like, you know what? I was worried that this wasn't going to work out, but because I knew that other people did this and I knew that, it worked for them and it worked for that person and it worked for that contractor, that I was like, man, I can move forward with this. But really, when I dig deeper and when I've dug deeper with those clients, they're like, yeah, I didn't have the fear of failure. I'm like, why? Well, because somebody else had success with it. But you see, at some point, and that's one of the advantages of becoming part of the Champion CEO community here at Prof for Contractors. It does allow you to leapfrog decades of the days. That means it allows you to leapfrog. You can get something done in a day that might have taken you 10 years to try and figure out. The reality is that in order for those things to be solved, in order for those things to be executed on, as much as they've been tested and proven, everybody's scenario is a little bit different. And, I guess, our clients having the confidence that somebody else has done it, it doesn't mean that they're not going to come across any barriers, but they've got a way more confidence. They have a way less fear. And I think that allows them to keep moving forward, right? Along with the fact that they can share inside of a community when they're struggling, to know that they're not alone. Okay. So fear holds us back significantly. So Andrew, how did this help you, right? You might be thinking going, Andrew, you said that, once you figured this out, things changed. Yeah, it was huge. Guys, you see, too many times we focus in on, okay, so keep the fear principle in check right now. Too many times we focus so heavily on the result, right? Like, hey, when I get this thing done, it's going to change my life. Hey, when I get this thing done, then I'm going to be able to. When I get this thing done, I'm going to be able to be happy, right? I'm going to be able to enjoy life. I'm going to be able to have more time back. You do need to set targets. It's super critical that you get crazy clear on your targets. And it's super important that you set these targets that are not just business driven, that are literally giving you, results on the personal front by achieving those business results, right? That's why I talk about getting your profits to pay for your freedom. It's not about getting your business to be as big as possible. No, it's about getting your profits to pay for your freedom. That's those profits from the business allow you to pay for things, do things, live the life that you want, right? So where I'm going with this is that one of the new concepts that really hit me, and it changed the way I looked at things, is that it didn't eliminate the fear, but it made me look at things very, very differently, which is that it allowed me to look at the journey as one of the most important parts of enjoyment. You see, if we just focus in on waiting until we achieve this goal, right, or this outcome, what about the time it takes you to get to that outcome, right? And you know what's funny about getting to that outcome? You get to that outcome, and then what happens? Do we really celebrate enough? No, we hardly ever take the time to celebrate. We move on to the next result that we want, right? And the next result. And that's okay, because as humans, right, We're meant to achieve more and more, right? We're meant to want more and more. And I think that's okay. People are like, I've got a lot of friends and family that will say, Andrew, is it ever going to be enough? I'm like, whoa, just a second. It's not that I'm not happy. And in order for me to be happy, I need more. I just want to become the best I can. I want my clients to become the best I can. I want my family to become the best that they can. Why not? Why not want more? Right? You heard the old adage that, if a tree stops growing, it's dead. Yeah, you got to keep on growing, right? So here's the core principle. Enjoy the failures with the right mindset, right? Enjoy making progress, okay? And the journey, people, you hear this, enjoy the journey. No, really, you have to enjoy the journey. So what I want you to do, here's the tactic I want you to think about. And again, I'm going to be focusing, I'm going to be doing some more podcasts on time and managing your time and how to get back more time and how to steal back more time. But on this one here, I want you to understand that look at what it is that you want to achieve. So say you're working on a project, like a lot of our clients come in and they're like, Coach, like, I want to be able to back cost my jobs. Okay. Instead of like, oh my God, this is, oh my God, I'm going to have to do this and this and this and this and this and this, and then what happens if I don't achieve, the feedback I want? What happens if my guys don't buy in? What happens if and that fear starts kicking in? Fuck that. Fuck the fear. Okay. How about that? F the fear, right? And focus in on what is it that you're going to learn along the way. Understand that every time you fail at something, if used properly, it is one of the great characteristics of a champion CEO. Champion CEOs know they're not going to win every fucking game, right? I mean, whether it was back in sports or, whatever you did in life, you knew that you're not going to win every single time. Well, there's a reason for that. You're supposed to fail. You're supposed to fail so you learn, right? You're supposed to fail so that it hurts sometimes a little bit, so that it makes it real, so it makes it tangible, so it makes it such that, when you put that new thing in place, whether it's a new system, a new policy, new people, whatever it might be, right? New product, new service, that what effort you put in sticks, right? It's like the kid that puts his hand on the stove. I mean, it's a little bit cruel, but the reality is the kid that puts his hand on the stove and gets a little tiny burn, thank God it's not a big burn, their brain goes, you know what, if I do that again, that's going to hurt. Okay. So focus in on the journey. And so lay out, if I'm at point A, and get really clear on point A. Okay. I think that's a big challenge. Is a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm here. And then they start moving forward towards a goal. Planning for the plan, right? Plan for the plan is one of the most important aspects, which is making sure that you're truly aware, using your numbers, using data, using logic, not emotion, as much as possible logic, to understand where you're at. Then look at where it is that you're trying to go, right? And say to yourself, say in the next 30 days, I'm here right now, right? In the next 30 days, I want to get here, or I want to have these results. And then think about some of the areas that, break out those steps and say to yourself, hey, I'm okay with this step here, checking example for looking at back costing, right? Checking previous quotes, how I quoted them, right? I'm okay at looking at them and looking what, at the actual versus what the estimated on the quote was. I might be upset by finding out that I quoted these jobs and I didn't make the money that I want. But you need to learn that and be okay with that, because guess what? Now you can say to yourself, fuck, that sucks. But guess what? I can now do a course correction so that, the remainder of my business, I'm able to do things better. I'm able to quote better. I'm able to, identify, I'm putting the right guys on the job. I'm able to, break down different parts of the job. I can go on and on. I'm getting into back costing, but that's part of the process. Okay. So enjoy the process. Don't be afraid of the process. Okay. Don't be afraid of what you're going to see, because if you keep with the mindset of fear, you're not going to make the progress you need, and it is going to hold you back from taking action. Okay. So that's a key principle that I want you guys to get out of today is, we have to get good at failure, and we have to get good at how we respond to that failure, and back to this cycle, right? How we respond to the past failure, if we allow it to hold us back from taking action, which I think is in a lot of the cases. That's the mental state. Like, I don't really want to look at that. I'm just going to keep doing things the way I'm doing them. It's not going to move you forward. Okay. Instead of looking at the past, going, I'm not happy with those past results. You know what? I'm going to keep taking the action needed per my plan, per where I'm at and where I want to go to make the necessary steps. So, guys, at the end of the day, you are the one that's going to ask this question, right? And I brought this question up, which is, let me just bring it up here, is you get the side, guys, on this question, which is, what if, all of this doesn't come to fruition? In other words, what if I don't get the results that I want at the end? It's up to you. Some people said to me ages ago, Andrew, what if you don't achieve, at one point it was like $1 million, coaching business, or in the, when I had my contracting business, what if you don't achieve the $10 million, automation business, and on, right? Now we're striving for, like, I'm looking at $100 million coaching business. I'm not joking, guys. And people are like, what happens if you don't achieve that? I'm like, well, that's okay if I don't achieve it, but the journey is going to be fucking amazing. It's been amazing. It's been great, And yes, there's been lots of failures along the way, and this is it. Not just me getting good at failing, but my team getting good at failing and how we respond to that. Instead of running away from it in fear on the next project or moving forward with it, fuck that. Okay? Screw fear. We're going to face it. We're going to analyze it. We're going to take the necessary action. So hopefully that was helpful today, guys. If you want to get any more insights, I'm sure there's going to be some links down below, links to join our Contractor Tips group. Great group. It's a free group for non-champion CEO family members. So, I mean, you guys, you champion CEOs, you know who you are. You can be in that group as well. But Contractor Tips group, it's a free group. Feel free to join it. If you're an owner, a contractor, and you want to move your business forward and get insights like this and get some of the free tools and templates that support things like back costing, things of that nature, pricing your jobs, how to plan, things of that nature, you can go in there. And we've got some of the baseline principles on how you guys can, get some momentum and move forward with that. Otherwise, make a comment down below, message me. Again, don't let the answer to, like, why don't we take the necessary action be that you're going to just keep doing the same thing. Let's turn that around and go, I'm going to think differently about the actions I have to take. I'm going to think differently about setting goals and how I look at my goals, and start looking at it from a journey perspective, and that you're supposed to fail, right? Like, look forward to a certain degree of failure, or how you define failure. Maybe getting the results that you didn't want, right? Maybe getting the data that you're unhappy about. I mean, I just found out today something on the tax front that I'm finding out literally just before this, that we missed out on a whole bunch of money we could have saved in write-offs because certain things were not being properly tracked. Like, yeah, that pisses me off. But am I going to run away from it? No, man, we're going to address it. So that's another episode of the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Keep bringing your questions, and we'll catch you later before I start choking. Later.